I've got news for you.
We're the two teachers. Welcome to CitizenView,
where school is always in session.
Andy, we've been buzzing about the conventions, but they're over. Now we're on to the general election. Mano a mano, Obama versus Romney. What are they working on between now and November?
We have 2 months. Did you say mano a mano or money a money? Because the first thing they're working on is raising campaign money, both through their individual campaigns and also through those independent super PACs.
And we know what that money's going to buy. That money's going to buy branding. They're going to run ads, targeted ads in states, targeted ads on certain networks, targeted ads just even for certain programming to brand those candidates as friendly and welcoming to your votes.
Well, we know the money buys a lot of advertising. It buys campaign staff, the travel costs, but it also buys a grassroots organization. It takes a lot of money to have field headquarters out in the field to recruit ordinary voters from your party to make sure they go out there on election day. Obama proved very effective at this in 2008. A lot of his money advantage over McCain in 2008 went into these organizations, these community organizations. Romney, if he's smart, will follow that battle plan of Obama and have an organization that gets those diehard Republicans out to vote for him.
Well, you're right, Andy. You know, if you listen to the news and listen here at CitizenView, you've learned that for a lot of Americans, they may have already decided. The brands are complete. The question is, will they come out and vote? And so there's going to be a lot of attention in the next few weeks and a lot of money spent, not just on ads, but on that grassroots, getting people out to vote. Many states have early voting, but getting people out to vote could be the deciding factor in this election.
And it's kind of similar also to the '96 presidential election, which was Bill Clinton's re-election year, where the voting turnout in that election was under 50%. Now, I don't know if we're going to have turnout that's under 50%, but a lot of the polls say that people have already made up their mind that the sliver of undecided voters is much smaller than in previous elections. So really the 4 key words of this election is GOTV, get out the vote. And it's going to be a battle between the Democrats and Republicans, which side can get their base supporters out to vote. I was going to say more often, but that would be illegal. The most. Which side can get their side out the most?
I think it's fair to say that a higher turnout affects Obama, lower turnout affects Romney. But Andy, there's some other events coming up that everyone's excited about. Whether or not they'll be decisive in this election, time will tell. Of course, we're talking about the debates.
Well, the debates are televised. It's a sign of a competitive election. Anytime 2 candidates come into a debate, particularly televised, it shows that both sides take each other seriously. And it's very healthy for democracy to see the candidates and the vice presidential candidates up there. It's also a sign for voters and viewers out there to really determine which candidate do you feel more comfortable with in the pressure of that moment.
If these debates are anything like previous debates, Andy, it'll be less about that cerebral connection. These debates are visceral. Who do you feel that connection with? Hey, I kind of like that Obama guy, or that Romney guy really speaks to me. Regardless of the words that they use, the debates may look to be cerebral, but they're really a visceral event. Andy,
but let's not kid ourselves, Dan. Debates more and more, because they're televised and because campaigns are so scripted these days, where they very rarely veer off the teleprompter. Debates more is about who can avoid the gaffe.
The big mistake.
And it's kind of sad that so many of these debates seem, they know what questions are coming. They know how they're going to answer those questions. And the big key is, can they avoid the mistake? And I wish debates were a little bit more impromptu, with better policy questions. But the reality is that's what people are looking for.
Well,
Will Romney or Obama make the big, or Biden or Ryan make the big mistake?
Andy, one other point that we just need to make is that maybe you're in a state that isn't a bellwether, maybe it's not a swing state. There's not a lot of attention paid in some states. Like here in Illinois, it's a matter of fact that Obama will win Illinois, so there won't be a lot of energy here. These campaigns, because the money's tight, will focus on those 10, 11, 12 states that will be the swing states, Andy. When you fight for that general election, it's a state-by-state campaign, and really only 12 are in play.
Well, 12 are in play. Illinois, if the candidates come to Illinois, and Romney has, Obama has, it's to raise money. because of Chicago and the big money from Chicago. But they'll be flying to every state around us. They'll be going to Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. I mean, it's the Big Ten election because so many of the swing states, the battleground states that might go Democratic, might go Republican, are in that Big Ten conference.
Say, Andy, one last point, and that is the unpredictability about a campaign. You can script out everything you want. You can build a grassroots support, but the events that happened this last week in Libya with the tragic death of our ambassador, Andy, this all of a sudden changes the dialogue of the debate. Nobody could have predicted this. Nobody could have planned on this. But this will be a point of contention where Romney will try to make a distinction between what his administration would have done versus what Obama's administration is going to do. Andy, we've got an October surprise here in September.
For as much as we think that this election is going to be about the economy and jobs, you're absolutely right. It could be that international event that no one can predict. It could be a flare-up between Israel and Iran. It could be something that's not on the radar right now that happens before November 6th that really determines the outcome of that presidential election.
You're listening to Citizen View, and we're the two teachers.
No fancy words.
No fancy suits.
Just
plain talk about issues you need to know. Just in time.
In time.